Because Georgina was raised by a millionaire, it was thought that her life would turn a new page. However, no one expected that this relationship would cause Georgina to leave her life. Georgina Simons, who grew up in Newport, Pembrokeshire, South Wales, came from a well-off family. However, her parents broke up when she was young. Georgina is described as intelligent, ambitious, and vibrant. Georgina became pregnant young and gave birth to a daughter with her electrician boyfriend, Peter Deem. When she was 18, Georgina began working as a stripper in dance clubs in Newport and Cardiff. 2 years later, she came up with the idea of becoming a high-class prostitute to earn money to take care of her daughter and have a better life. However, Peter Deem completely opposed this idea. After the relationship ended, Georgina worked odd jobs to support her children. In 2012, at the age of 22, Georgina, working as a prostitute under the name Hannah James, met a 50-year-old man named Peter Morgan through a prostitute service website. Married with 2 daughters, Peter was a very wealthy businessman with an estimated net worth of around $20 million. In 2013, his wife discovered a Valentine's Day flower delivery from him addressed to Georgina. Obsessed with Georgina's work, Peter eventually moved her and her daughter to a wooden house, just 5 minutes from his family's castle. By 2016, they had been together for 3 years. On January 12, 2016, Georgina's friend Alex contacted Welsh police. Alex said that she and Georgina had arranged to take their daughters out together that day. However, Georgina never showed up to pick up her child from school and couldn't be reached. When the police arrived at the bungalow, Alex, Peter, and Georgina's mother were all there. Peter told police that Georgina hadn't been herself over the past few days. 7 months earlier, Georgina's father had passed away. Peter, her ex-boyfriend, had also died by suicide. Peter said Georgina turned to alcohol and drugs to cope with the pain. Peter believed Georgina may have committed suicide, judging by her recent behavior. He thought she might have gone to the woods behind the wooden house, but the police found nothing in the forest. Because of her unstable mental state, Georgina's disappearance is considered high risk. Tracing her phone, the police found a lead at a farm owned by Peter's wife. For years, Peter Morgan had been a respected husband, father, and businessman in the Usk community of southeast Wales. After marrying his childhood sweetheart and having 2 daughters, Peter founded a successful business. In the late 2000s, he sold the company, becoming a millionaire overnight. He then used this capital to expand into real estate. Peter spared no expense on high-tech gadgets, sports cars, helicopters, and even old military tanks. Turning 50, he began indulging in what his acquaintances considered excessive paying for sex with prostitute. Describing Peter's complete transformation from a devoted father of 2 to a 50-year-old playboy, forensic psychologist Dr. Roberta Babb suggested that Peter is going through a midlife crisis. In 2013, Peter Morgan met Georgina Simons through a website that offered prostitute services. Charming, vivacious, creative, and ambitious, Georgina viewed her call-girl job as a transactional relationship, charging Peter £150 for a kiss on their first meeting. Peter quickly booked a second appointment and began seeing Georgina weekly. Intrigued by her personality, unlike the other prostitutes he knew, she sent him pictures of cars, helicopters, and designer shoes she liked. In return, he took her shopping, splurging on a 1,400-pound coat she admired, showering her with helicopter trips, nights in lavish hotels, and expensive gifts. Disapproving of Georgina seeing other men, Peter took decisive action. He arranged for Georgina and her daughter to live in a house just 5 minutes from his family's castle, providing them with £10,000 monthly for her exclusivity. He also covered all their expenses. At first, Georgina divided her time between Peter Morgan, whom she called Pete Rich, and Peter Deem, her boyfriend and father of her daughter, whom she called Pete Poor. Peter Deem had already struggled with Georgina becoming a prostitute. Now, her job became an even bigger source of tension, especially since Georgina tried to hide Peter Morgan from him. This arrangement proved intolerable for him. With the pressure mounting on her relationship with the 2 Peters, Georgina decides to leave Peter Deem and focus on her relationship with the wealthier Peter Morgan, whom she calls Rich. By August 2015, Georgina informed Peter Morgan she had ended her relationship with Peter Deem. However, she did meet with her ex a few more times before finally severing ties for good. Despite learning from Georgina's family and friends that the millionaire was completely smitten and desired a future with her, the police investigation revealed a contrasting reality. Georgina, it seemed, viewed the relationship strictly as a business transaction, and close friends confided that she planned to end things with Peter Morgan altogether. Just months after their breakup, tragedy struck again when Peter Dean died by suicide. This followed the passing of Georgina's father only 7 months earlier. The weight of these losses plunged Georgina into a spiral of alcohol and drug abuse. Georgina shoulders the blame for her ex-lover's death, also directing some towards Peter Morgan. Police then discovered Georgina's white cell phone under the driver's seat of Peter Morgan's Porsche 911. They found thousands of downloaded messages between her and Morgan, her boyfriend Tom Ballinger, her coworkers, friends, and family. In one text message, Georgina told a man, "As soon as I get rid of Rich Pete, it's just you and me." Police also found a file containing images and videos of Georgina, Peter Morgan, and other prostitutes. The file even showed them appearing in bed together at the house where Peter's family lived. Additionally, contact details for Peter's wife, Helen Morgan, were also found on the device. Millionaire Peter Morgan was taken to the police station for further questioning. This man admitted that he took Georgina's phone, but it was to prevent her from buying drugs. Finally, he confessed to killing Georgina. According to Peter, he brought Georgina's body to the family farm after her death. Police found her body behind some agricultural equipment. The victim was wrapped with rope around her body and had an orange rope around her neck used to strangle her. Georgina's wallet, car keys, house keys, and high-heeled boots were thrown away in a trash bag. Police also found the eavesdropping device Peter used to spy on the victim, disguised as a white plug adapter, in the bungalow where Georgina and her mother lived. Faced with this, Peter claimed that the installation was only intended to check on Georgina's health. However, Peter's phone records show the eavesdropping device was accessed about 514 times over several months from 2015 to 2016. From November 2015, Peter monitored Georgina's movements for up to 2 hours per day. During a phone conversation between Georgina and an acquaintance in January 2016, Peter heard Georgina talk about being bored with their relationship and wanting to own the wooden house that Peter was letting her stay in. In addition, the 25-year-old woman said she would leave Peter to continue working with other men. Georgina planned to blackmail Peter by threatening to send sensitive videos and reveal his use of prostitute websites to his wife and daughter if he refused to hand over the house ownership deed. Peter admitted that he knew Georgina was using him, and because of that, he bought the listening device. The millionaire confessed to killing his lover but denied murder, claiming he lost control. He told police, "I really didn't want to kill her, maybe I didn't know I was doing it at the time." Although the perpetrator has been found, the investigation agency now needs to determine whether Georgina's death was a premeditated murder or just an accident. On January 11, 2016, the day before Georgina's murder, Peter made a list on his phone of items he needed to buy, including polywebbing, scissors, string, tape, gloves, plugs, and bags. These items were all later found to be used in Georgina's killing. The next day, Peter drove to his bungalow where Georgina was living. He offered to give Georgina ownership of the house and a £1 million life insurance policy in exchange for filming them having sex. However, Georgina refused. When Georgina still firmly disagreed, Peter, who was sitting next to her on the sofa, killed her by choking her with a homemade rope. Peter then wrapped the woman's body in cloth and tape before hiding it in a barn on the farm behind the house where his family lived. Surveillance camera footage from the farm captured Peter driving up, pulling Georgina's body out of the car, and hiding it. Authorities believe Peter's wife installed these cameras after he moved out, and that he was unaware of them. On January 14, 2016, Peter was arrested and charged with murder. The trial began on November 28, 2016, where Peter pleaded not guilty. He claimed to have briefly loosened the rope around Georgina's neck on 2 occasions, but then tightened it again when she disagreed with his demands. "I acted impulsively in the heat of the moment," Peter stated to the jury. The prosecution alleges Peter virtually molded Georgina into a doll for him to use, abuse, play with, and have complete control over her. The moment he heard Georgina's story about taking advantage of him, Peter realized that he was losing financial control over her. He knows Georgina won't care about him and she won't stay. Obsessed with Georgina, the prosecution argued Peter meticulously planned her murder. Peter's younger brother countered, saying his brother was only trying to win Georgina back after their breakup. The defense argued Peter was out of control and did not intend to kill Georgina due to autism spectrum disorder, ASD. However, on December 21, 2016, Peter was still convicted of murder. He was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 25 years. In October 2017, Peter filed an appeal but was denied. Indeed, this is a sad ending for the girl and the millionaire. He had been educated and had a good wife and children, but because of greed and lust, his life took a different direction. Please share this story of ours so that more people are aware of the dangers of dark, self-serving relationships.